Ladies and gentlemen, I have returned from my adventures to the nuclear wasteland that we call Japan. While I was there, and watching my analytical figures slowly drop due to not posting a video, I wondered, what should I make upon my grand return? Then it hit me. Let's make a video about the literal carbon copy of Japan in the Warhammer universe. Nippon. Now, the best part about going to Japan and taking a lot of photos and then doing a Nippon video is that I can literally use my photos I took and claim that they are Nipponese photos. So you guys get to enjoy my trip and get lawful, uncopyrighted flicks. That's a win-win if I do say so myself. I hope you guys enjoyed this session of fucked up but mostly correct Australian pronunciations of overly difficult names and lore. Oh yeah, and I'll also talk about what happened to them during the end times, so get rowdy for that. Let's get into it. Nippon, which means Japan in Japanese, was ruled by the Emperor, also known as the Divine Sun, and an upper class group of elite warriors called, ding ding ding, you guessed it, samurai. Much like feudal Japan, the Emperor was more of a figurehead than an actual body of authority, as the samurai were the ones who held the military strength, hence that comes with the political power. Around 10% of the samurai warriors are also so fanatical about battle that they consider it an honor to die fighting. Hence, they have become literal kamikaze jihadists who strap bombs to themselves before Naruto running into the enemy lines. Praise Allah, I guess. Moving on from the samurai, we have another class of Nipponese, the monks. These monks come in two main forms, martial, or warrior monks, and then clerical. Each class of monk spends their whole life training, hence the martial monks are supreme fighters, clerical monks are just smart as fuck. The martial monks, aka the Vitomists, fought with no weapons, yet clearly outclass a full-plated armed samurai. They were able to stop swords with their bare hands and instantly dash and dodge in and out of combat, making them ideal guards or champions. Continuing the trend of unoriginality, the next class of Nipponese were the ninja assassins, who were actually the ones that taught Clan Eshin of the Skaven how to assassinate people properly. They are identical to feudal Japanese assassins, except for the fact that instead of, hiding in shadow and killing people like that, they'll just disguise themselves as simple soldiers and march in an army. However, when the battle begins, they'll just rip off their disguises and just beeline for the enemy commander in hopes of getting a super cheesy kill on them. Kinda like when the first artillery shot from a ballista in a battle of medieval II Total War would take out your commander. The final class of the Nipponese were the Peasants, who were the most numerous and kept the country running. Unlike Britannia, however, the peasants in Nippon didn't get repeatedly ass-fucked by their knightly overlords and were quite content with their lives. When a samurai was heading to battle, he would conscript his peasants to come with him. They would form regiments called ashigaru, who acted as cannon fodder for the samurai, however were also surprisingly skilled in combat. They were also fiercely loyal to their commanders. Fuck, I've been killing the pronunciation tonight, hell yeah. Now, it might not be that obvious, however the Nipponese faction is lacking listed monsters for their armies, despite there being some references to having some. Known monsters that the armies of Nippon employ include temple dogs, which are just these massive stone dog lions, the Kirin, which are like godly weather unicorns, and due to their geographical location, Nippon can also choose to employ giants and ogres into their army if needed. Now, like most races in Warhammer, and the Earth I guess, the Nipponese are super racist and have an isolationist policy that allows zero immigration. As a fun fact, turns out Japan also has a zero immigration policy, so there you go, the copy pasta continues. Despite this, however, there has been some contact with the outside world. The High Elves enjoy pretty unrestricted trade with Nippon, as does Marienburg, which has actually formed a solid relationship with Nippon, evident by the Nipponese basically having an embassy within Marienburg. Nippon's military, as it is reasonably solid. High unit count, occasional monster, and well-trained soldiers, along with them also employing the winds of magic. However, what really sets them apart is their incredible navy, the Dragon Fleet. The Dragon Fleet is why Cathay, aka China, doesn't want to fuck with Nippon. However, in real life, China fucking hates Japan for raping their country a few times. As Nippon was pretty much a cancelled faction that is not referenced much in the lore, they lack super cool or notable characters. However, I have dug up a few that I reckon will tickle your pickle. We have the samurai lord, Sanyo Kawasaki, who was so disgusted by the weakness of the government that he led a rebellion against them and sieged their capital. However, this ended poorly for old mate Sanyo and his army was crushed. As tradition with autistic samurai, Sanyo ritually killed himself. However, I'm pretty sure Games Workshop is taking the fucking piss here, as instead of a normal, samurai normally just stabbing themselves through the stomach, Sanyo did it the Nippon way, which was to stand upside down with your head in a bucket full of water until you drown. What the fuck, that is so stupid, holy shit. Moving on to a somewhat cool character, we have the Red Ronin. Once an honourable samurai, deceit by a shapeshifter caused the Red Ronin to accidentally slay his master, causing him to become an honourless Ronin. He wanders the land, searching for the evil shapeshifter, and, while he was doing it, he became a demon hunter along the way. That's pretty neat. What's actually cool about this guy is that every time he kills a demon, or an Oni as they're called, he actually takes some of their shit, such as their armor and weapons, and he uses these cursed items for himself. He sees it as a way of punishing himself, as he must fight day and night to maintain his sanity that is threatened by these cursed as fuck items. The Red Ronin is finally killed when Grimgor's War invaded Nippon during the end times. He was able to kill the leader of the Orc army, however, he died in the process. The cool thing about Nippon, I must agree, is that despite Games Workshop ditching them, the fans didn't. So now there's this fucking awesome fan-made war book for Nippon that details the lore and the tabletop rules of many lawful and unlawful units and characters, although they are pretty much lawful as they are filling an empty hole. I'll link that army book because if that was made by Games Workshop, I reckon Nippon would actually be a fan favourite faction in my opinion. There is so much lore and shit to talk about in that book. How about, if this video does well, like 1,000 likes and 20,000 views, I'll make another lore video about the expanded army book lore and roster, and we can start a fucking hashtag about make Nippon great in the first place because it was never good. Now, to everyone's favourite part ever, the end times. What happened to this great samurai nation when the world went to shit? Well, the Skaven nuked Nagashima and Hirosaki, causing the Nipponese to surrender. Nah, not really. What actually happened is that the Skaven did not want to have to put too much military resources into defeating Cathay Nippon Indian Araby because they were, busy genociding the lizards. So instead, they did a shit ton of sabotaging and assassinations in order to destabilize Nippon. Each Nipponese city got cut off from one another as messengers were assassinated. To make matters worse, Grimgor randomly shows up and burns the entire dragon fleet, the thing that makes Nippon somewhat strong. Then the big black orc man himself destroyed most of Nippon for fun, killing most of their characters off as well. When Grimgor got bored, he eventually left the island, with Nippon being pretty fucked up. However, to their credit, 7 out of 10 orcs that landed in Nippon died in Nippon. The survivors of Nippon did actually manage to rally and massacre the Skaven that were on the island, but it was too little and too late. The survivors of Nippon gathered together and sang Kumbaya as the tide of chaos consumed them in the end. As of yet, it does not look like they're going to come back in Age of Sigmar, as they are pretty much non-existent in Warhammer Fantasy as it is. And that is it guys, that is the lore of the Nipponese faction. There is actually a Games Workshop quote explaining why this faction was basically abandoned and not fleshed out. Basically it explains that Nippon was made because feudal Japan was trendy at the time. However, the project was shelved, and by the time they went back to review it, no one cared about samurais anymore, as they say. At least, that's what they thought. I tend to disagree, samurai are fucking awesome. I personally would have loved to see this faction come, and I'm really hoping Creative Assembly are giving creative control to bring this faction to life in the Total War games. That would be amazing. To finish this video off in a super cultured Nipponese way, I'll show a video of me drunk trying to get back to my apartment in Tokyo. And we can't even find our train, and my toes are bleeding really bad, and I didn't get my dick wet because apparently Wednesday night isn't it? Oh, what's this? It's all closed. Oh, no entry. Oh, yes. Shit. Haha. Getting home just became even harder. Oh, what a beautiful city. If only we had a taxi on the way home. Oh look, there's a taxi over there, but they rejected us because they're cunts. Taxi. Taxi! Hey, we got a ride, motherfucker. We have found our method of salvation. Well, that is quite nice. There's a lot of construction, but there's no poverty, apparently. I reckon they just sweep them and put them in like a bin. Or maybe just garden fertilizer. Look at all those taxis that we didn't catch. Our modium of transport does not speak our mother language, which is good, because I say mean things all the time. Cheers guys for watching, join that fucking Discord, and Send me your dick pics still. I don't know why I keep asking for that. Like, I actually do get pictures of people's dicks, and it's kind of weird. I don't know. Like, what is wrong with me? Anyway, let me know what you want to see in the next video in the comments below. Have a fucking sick one, guys. Peace.